I don't really care. Authentic, right? That's what this whole thing's about. Being authentic. So, this is me. So, yeah. Let's have a little bit of a talk. So, a lot of people, a lot of people, a lot of people will sit there and make judgments based off of someone's looks. It's why I tell you guys, I won't wear my teeth because I don't earn money for this. Like, I get paid to put my teeth in my mouth and go out there and suffer because it hurts. You guys have seen me with my teeth in. Like, I get paid for that. I don't get paid for this. This is for my personal growth, right? My personal structure, my personal well-being. This has nothing to do with anybody else. So, all the things that I've talked about over the last few months, all the things that I've gone into, all the things that I've hinted at, has all led to this particular question, to this particular lesson, right? This is what everything leads to. And it's not for me to answer the question for everybody. But I will, just based off of my own standard in life, and obviously my standard must be worth something, because I've never taken a job and not reached store manager in 3 months. Keep that in mind. People like not hearing about another person's accomplishments, but I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to continue to shove it down everyone's throats simply because I'm disabled. I shouldn't be able to do what I'm able to do. And if a part of me getting better is not just owning up to my own responsibilities in life, but it's taking the power back that is rightfully deserving to be mine, right? So it leads to this question. What is a man really? Now, I can't say what is a human being or what is a woman, obviously, because I'm not. Growing up for the first 10 years of my life without a father really gave me a strong idea of what the female perspective is, because I had a very empathetic mother. However she played that, she's a very empathetic person. And I got a lot of my strengths from her. So you could say I've had a very balanced perspective my whole life, because I've had a very strong feminine presence in my life, and because for reasons my grandfather filled that role. So I have a very old school mentality of the world. My ideal of a man and a woman is my grandfather and my great grandmother. And you cannot tell me that it's somebody who is meant to stay in the kitchen, because that woman was the assistant drafter of the SR-71. She was. And she lived a very independent life because of things that happened to her and her children early on. So I have a very independent perspective of a female view. So anytime somebody comes at me with anything less, I'm like, no. Because I've seen what a woman can do with my own two eyes in multiple generations when she's left to her own devices when the man fails her. And they can accomplish a lot. So I ask, what is a man? Because a lot of people like to stand around, a lot of people like to pound their chest, a lot of people like to, you have to be the toughest, you have to be the strongest, you have to be the fastest, you have to be the smartest. I got one of those covered. I got one of them covered. I'm disabled, so I can't be anything the rest of the way, but the intelligence part I have covered. But all these things that everybody wants to sit here and justify as their reason for existing is bullshit. What is a man? No one can answer that. A man is what you make it, good or bad. It's the standard that you've had and the standard that you decide to set for yourself and for everybody else. Because if it's one thing that I've learned throughout this whole thing is you can't protect others, you can't provide for others unless you can protect yourself and provide for yourself first. If you're getting into a relationship with somebody who is constantly demanding that you do things, but you're lacking the time to take care of yourself, you probably shouldn't have gotten into that relationship. I mean, hindsight, I should know that now, and I do know that now, but I wish I wouldn't have known that then. These are the things of a life well lived, ladies and gentlemen. I have never wanted a perfect life. I've never asked for a perfect life. I've just asked for a happy life. Because I know those things don't exist. But I know that you can find happiness within the chaos. Trust me, I am a master at manipulating chaos. Like when everything's going to hell, I'm just like, I got this. This ain't that bad. So, to me, a man is somebody that does the right thing. Says what needs to be said, regardless of if anybody wants to hear it. I think all of you know what nuance is. I've had a couple reports since first starting this, and you guys really starting to pick up and go along with me. So I know I'm talking to people in my demographic and a little bit older. And if you're a little bit older, hi. Like I'm getting to learn this a lot. Here's what I found out. Man or woman, it does not matter, ladies and gentlemen. Man or woman does not matter. Everybody grows up at 35. At 35, everybody grows up. I'm going to try to censor myself because I can't stop from cussing, so it's early. I know I'm going to try to be family friendly, other than like my normal 7 o'clock uncensored self. So everybody goes up to 35, right? Like, I wouldn't say the light goes on, but you start realizing, like, I got to get my shit together. Now, if you, I'm going to break this down into two categories, because then there is the category of me, somebody who has always been in an adult role, even as a child. Simply because you have to be more cognizant, being disabled, of your body and your own well-being, and knowing your boundaries and your lines. And, you know, sometimes you can get lost in that. I can. Because people start seeing, like, what you can actually handle when you live your life as ritual. Like, they forget you're disabled. Everybody sees that as a compliment. I take that as a negative, because you forgetting I'm disabled means you hold me up to a normal man's standards that I have to overdo my own standards 2 or 3 times just to meet your expectation. So, and I've gotten myself lost in that. Like my ex, when I fall hard. You know, and it is what it is, right? So I would probably say, from my own perspective, being that of somebody who is literally on the outside looking in his whole life. A man's somebody that shows up and does the right thing, even if the right thing isn't the popular thing. If you're looked at as the villain, so be it. I'm still doing what the right thing requires me to do. You say what needs to be said, even if what needs to be said is unpopular. You're always there. You have an eye to the future, but you're always in the present moment. A lot of these are just spiritual tools that they teach you. It's psychology 101, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that. I had to trick myself into believing it so I could literally change my stars, reinvent myself, whatever you want to call it. I did not like who I had become. I had to change it. No one else is going to do it for me, right? I have to do it for myself. So, you show up, you do the right thing, regardless of if it's popular or not. You say the right thing, regardless of if it's popular or not. And it's the consistency behind which that really starts to not only ingrain in yourself. The easiest way I can relate it to life as being a manager of 25 plus years is it's simply being accountable at every second of the day and holding yourself to that highest standard of that accountability will then bleed out, because once it becomes nomenclature for you to hold yourself accountable. Sorry, I'm trying to block the glare, but this is like the easiest way. Once you're able to hold yourself accountable for everything and it bleeds out, it literally bleeds onto everybody else. So you start holding everybody else accountable the way that you hold yourself accountable. That by it, as above so below, it's the first Hermetic law. Like, by holding yourself accountable, you hold everybody else accountable, and then by which they hold everybody else accountable, and then they hold everybody else accountable, so on, so forth. Pay it forward, whatever popular ism you want to tie to it at that time, you can tie to it. But that's basically what it comes down to. Is it's the conviction and the standard and the willingness to show up even when they don't want you to. It's that conviction, that standard, that consistency, that's man or woman. Like, that's what it comes down to in life. It's just the consistency at which you hold yourself to your own standard. Are you going to slip, or are you going to toe the line? Because the rest of the world wants you to acquiesce to all of them. They want to tell you who you are, and this is why they want to put you in a box. If you've ever heard that term, or I love movies and music. So The Matrix, there is no spoon, like there is no box, like. And I've approached my entire life like this. I approach everything like this. I walk into the room, I am the tide that raises all ships. Everything moves as I move. But I don't take a stern, like, very hard-lined way of doing it. I bring a structure with me. Like, it's going to go along the lines of what work deems it to go along the lines of. but we're going to flow. We're going to have fun. I'm going to show you that hard work is no work at all. Because all it is a challenge to be overcome. And when you're disabled, ladies and gentlemen, everything in life is a challenge to be overcome. I don't see it as, oh, my life is so... Give me what you got so I can make you go away and I can enjoy my life. I approach everything with that same warrior mentality. All I have to do is overcome this obstacle. All I have to do is overcome this process, and I get to have my peace. I get to have my peace after war, right? That is the mentality to have. That in and of itself is the winning mentality. Hands down, bar none. If everything is but a challenge to overcome. Now, some people, depending upon your immaturities, because we all lack in life in certain aspects or the other. That's why the whole concept of balance exists. We have to find balance within ourselves, right? Right. So, pick it up, move forward. I mean, I really don't have a better way of putting it. I mean, it's very nonchalant. It's very to the point. It kind of takes you out of the whole story and going along with it. But I mean, it just comes down to that. It's either you're going to make the most of your time or you're not. That's man. A man's going to show up. A man's going to do what needs to be done regardless of what you have to say about it, what you have to think about it. And you can take this in the context of a woman too, like that alpha female, like that husband. They're going to take it. They're going to move forward. Is there any other option? No, there's not. There's really not. There never is. It's either evolve or die. Literally, that's Darwinism. That's every ism in life. Evolve or die. And can you do it accordingly? Most of the time, I would say no. I cannot, because I will not. Because the standard of what a man is today is hypocritical. Because I've had the standard of what a real man is my entire life. And I've lived by that. So I know I'm a man. I can be the bad guy when it calls for it. I can be the loving protector when it calls for it. I know that balance. So I can be that person. The only question is can you? Like, have you been able to do the work to claim that right? And only you can answer that for yourself, right? Only you can answer that for yourself. I can't answer that for you, because I'm not you. Just like no one else can answer it for me, even though everybody likes to throw their shit on me. You can't answer it for me either. But maybe, just maybe, possibly, if I've said something here today that resonates, hopefully it helps. We're not done yet, though. Because once you get to this point in life, at 35, when everybody grows up, right? Everyone grows up. Then you start putting it together, it starts going on, and then 40 hits. And 40 is that magical number that we've all thrown into the blender and hit frappe on, where it's like 40, you're no longer economically viable, you're like you're not worth anything anymore, right? That's the standard for the most part that they all want to set. For a woman, I think it's 30. I think they set the standard for a woman at 30, but I think for a man it's 40. But that's literally like once you hit 40, they're like, "Oh, you learn too much. We can't get one over on you. You know how to defend yourself. You know how to clap back when something is just and unjust." Like, that's why at 40 you no longer become economically viable, because they can't control you anymore. So those that truly learn, those that truly grow from that, that's why they're told, like, you have to work for yourself. You have to take your life into your own hands at that point, because there's no other choice. There's no other choice at that point, because you've learned how to protect yourself. You've grown by seeing the way that everyone's taken advantage of you in life. That's when the light bulb goes on, ladies and gentlemen. And you take one of two paths. When that light bulb goes on at 40, you take one of two paths. Let me see if I can block that for you guys. You take one of two paths. It is either I'm going to make the most of it because I've enjoyed my life up until this point, or you go down the path of all I've known is responsibility, so I'm going to have fun. Literally everybody in life, it doesn't matter man or woman, they like to give you isms to separate us. Every stream from this point on, ladies and gentlemen, is going to get weird. I'm just going to warn you ahead of time. Like, the growth section of this self-help bullshit is done. This is it. Like, this is graduation right here, and I've been putting this bitch off because I haven't felt good. So it doesn't matter man or woman. 40, that life goes off. We all choose that path. Like, was I too much of an adult up until this point in life and I'm just going to enjoy myself? Or, sorry, or did I have too much fun and I need to take it seriously now? It's one or the other. We all fit into it. And then, like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, it's just based upon our own immaturities, our own insecurities, to the degree that we take either path. Like, if you take the childish path, let's say, that they call it, you know, that midlife crisis path, there is a way to do that and not be looked at like you're having a midlife crisis. You can be more empathetic, you can be more open, more giving of your time and everything else during that point in your life, and just living through love, instead of just being like, I'm going to go buy a Ferrari and I'm going to go get a 20-year-old girlfriend. Like, you don't have to. Like, you can actually buy a truck, or just keep the car that you have, maybe fix it up a little bit, or maybe you have that old one in the backyard from your dad or your grandpa or whatever, and that can be the thing you put your time into. But not everybody has to have a midlife crisis at this point when the light goes on. It's that immaturity level that makes them go far left or far right. You can apply this to politics too. But it's really that degree of immaturity that really tells you, like, how far a person goes with it. Like, I can tell you, like, up until this point, I've been too much of an adult. You can ask my kids, they would call me Hitler. So I'm the type that needs to loosen up at this point in life. I need to learn how to have fun. I need to learn how to live through love, because all I've lived through is rigid structure. That can also be a problem when you're trying to adjust with all the people that you love in life, because you don't necessarily want to get rid of everybody. You do love people. You need to protect yourself, but you do love people. So it's like, can you adjust with this? Can you flow with this? And that's another lesson for yourself to come into is what are you willing to put up with now that you've done the work and you're on this road? Are they truly accepting of you, or are they not? Because a lot of people will think it's egotistical, but it's really just the empath learning from the narcissist how to protect themselves. It's learning these tools and how to apply it to myself to protect my own inner peace. Because if I can't protect myself, I can't protect anybody else. If I can't provide for myself, I can't provide for anybody else. Graduation day, everything's just confirmation at this point. Yay! But seriously, it still comes back to what is a man? And you can apply that down the road to what is a woman also. And like I said, it goes left or right. Either you're going to be responsible with how you take the shift in life, or are you going to bob and weave? Are you going to go with the flow? Or are you going to stay the same person that you've been and let life hammer your face until your nose looks like mine? Like, seriously. Seriously. Can you bob and weave? Or are you going to get nothing? Like luckily, I can say I've learned how to bob and weave now. Like, I've rediscovered that inner child and finding balance, finding the balance between the two has really been the mainstay about everything. It's just that even keel, that balance point. And it's kind of funny because it really is true. Like, what you search for in life is what you find in the end. Like, I've lived through so much chaos. It's not an excuse, it's an acceptance. I can use that as a strength going forward. I know what to look for and what not to. That's the benefit of time. That's the benefit of age. That's why they say life begins at 40. The light goes off. Or not off, but on. And it goes on bright for a lot of people. And it's like, okay, yeah, okay. I see where I was lacking. Let's adjust this. But I don't want... Like, there's still many misconceptions, like I've proven, even in spirituality itself, using that as like a poor man's psychology 101, so I don't have to go out and pay some shrink to do it. Because I am frugal. But I mean, it teaches you. It all comes down to balance. Like, now and again and everywhere else. And that in and of itself set me off going on this whole journey with you guys. Simply because I was going through this, and I was buying into it to a certain degree. We can say a certain degree, to a degree where I would deem it acceptable to help me, we'll say, given my knowledge of symbology and everything else. And that's where I came into the problem of, oh shit, these people are lying. Like, they're lying. And everybody eats it up. Like, everybody. And I really don't understand. I really don't. Why everybody eats it all up. I guess that's the boundless, endless question, right? Why are we willing to accept these things? Why? Why are we willing to go along with the flow? Like, up until a point. I get it. I truly... Everybody... Okay, let's see how crazy this comes out. Alright. Let's see how crazy this one gets. Actually, no. Let's save that one for next time, because that's more esoteric than anything. So this is like the last of the self-help, and then next time we get into like the esoteric, like actual occult stuff, you guys actually get to see how much I actually know. Hopefully you don't get scared. But that in and of itself really led to the first video I put out in a while, and me criticizing Sarah and saying she's not the alchemist, like she's not teaching appropriately, she's not teaching effectively, because she's not. Like, I'm sorry, like, if you follow her, if you like her, but she doesn't. And there's really... I dance around this so much when I should just really just come out and say it. Like, there is only one alchemist every age, and that's what's taught in the occult. There's one alchemist every lifetime. That's what's taught. Anything else is a lie. Period. And I'm tired of dancing around it. So here it is. No one else is the alchemist but me. I am the alchemist of this age. What other disabled person on earth? What other disabled person on earth can make you forget they're disabled? And I'm not talking about somebody who came out normal and then had an accident or something. I'm talking about flat-born disabled. I have the ability to make every single one of you forget that I'm disabled. When we are face to face, when you interact with me, you forget I'm disabled. If that's not proof in and of itself that I am the alchemist of this age, that I can exist as a disabled human being and make you forget that I'm disabled, there is no other human being on this planet that can do that. I am the true alchemist of this age. And starting tomorrow, hell, maybe even starting tonight, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe even starting tonight. With all the crap you guys have said, it's really going to fucking get weird tonight. Let me tell you that. You guys are coming here thinking you're picking on me, thinking you're putting me down. Nah, bro. I am the sanest, most lucid person on the face of the earth. I don't know how else to put it. No one else on this planet is disabled and can make you forget that they're disabled. That is alchemy. I am the alchemist. No one else. My gift, my right. I will own that. I will accept that. And all the negativity that comes along with it. Because Everybody else can sit here and tell you what they think you should do. Everybody else can sit here and tell you what all the best minds say you should do, what everybody else would do. I'm sitting here saying what not to do, because I did everything wrong. And I can literally tell you, failure has taught me more than success. Tonight we're getting weird, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're ready.